What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Sean.
And we are speaking the language of bromance.
Richard, there are like things that are just, stuck in the American tales of life. You've got the Oregon Trail. You've got
The Little Mouse.
Yeah, you got Fievel Goes West. You got Taming the West. You've got like tons and tons of stuff, right? I want to share a tale that takes place as part of the Great American Horse Race, Richard. How do you feel about horse racing?
I'm kind of indifferent to it. I do think I do find it funny that you can take a horse and
you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Well, that, and also you can take a horse and be like, look, this horse runs really fast. And then people pay you to have it fuck your horse.
Yeah. I don't know if they pay you to have it fuck the horse. I think they pay for the seed because they don't want to actually have sex.
Fuck my horse. I will pay you. I don't remember what the name of the horse was, but some horse won the Kentucky Derby. And they were charging like $200,000 or some nonsense.
Yep.
Fuck my horse.
That's a whole level of like take my money type of scenarios where
no shit, like that's stupid. That's stupid, Rich. Because if you're like, I'm paying $200,000 to have their horse fuck my horse,
and I think a majority of the time they don't plan on. I don't know if they use those horses to race. I think it's more of just to be like, hey, you see that horse out there? It's got Kentucky Derby winner blood in it.
Yeah.
Like, well, how much you pay for that horse? $10 million.
I paid $50,000, because horses in general are fucking expensive. So like you gotta get a horse. And then after you get a horse, you know what you gotta get, Sean? Gotta get a stable. You know why? Horses gotta sleep. And then what you gotta buy? You gotta buy hay. And then what you gotta buy? You got saddle. You gotta pay for somebody to take care of the horse.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take care of your horse.
Yeah, but if you're paying $50,000 for a horse, we damn well know you're paying for somebody to take care of that horse.
If I'm paying $50,000 for a horse, it better talk.
A $5 bottle of jar of Skippy will take care of that.
But Richard, I want to start with this great American horse race. This isn't the Kentucky Derby. This is a defunct horse race. But Richard, this race lasted 100 days, spanned 3,500 miles. It started in New York, headed to the great state of Missouri, and then followed the Pony Express route to California.
Goddamn. See, after that, then it's going to be like, all right, who's going to pay me money to fuck my horse?
It's and a then dead the horse
is like, I can't do it. Yeah. I can't. I'm tired. I just ran like a whole country. So if you could just give me like 10 minutes.
But I mean, this is Richard. This is, they even talk about this guy named Lewis who hired race organizers to document the greatness and Americanness of this race. I mean, this is a very American thing. We're going to go out. We're going to tame the West. We're going to ride the Pony Express all the way to California.
Yeah, this is like around the world in 80 days, but it's like across the country in a horse.
Yes. I don't even want to drive that far in a car.
No shit, right? Oh my God, that's a good point. Because you're driving in a car and you got like 250 horsepower. Guess what? You're on a horse with a horsepower of 1.
Yeah.
That's going to take you fucking forever. How long did this thing take?
Well, it's about 100 days, so you're only going about 35 miles a day.
Jesus Christ.
Because those horses have to sleep. They have to like lay down.
Oh my God, you know what this is? This is like Cannonball Run, but horses.
Yes. And it's not even like you think like Kentucky Derby winner, like the prize package for that is like millions of dollars. Let alone like the fact that you're going to get to sell the seed of your horse to make money. But for this one, the rider that covered the distance the fastest got $25,000. And this is in 1976, which in today's term is $100,000.
Oh my God. So then he's like, who wants to pay to fuck me, the jockey?
Oh shit!
$200,000 for my seed.
That's what the owner's gonna say, and he's gonna be like, "Dude, I am chapped. My ass hurts." Like, no, nobody's fucking me.
Give me 10 minutes.
But this is a crazy race, Richard. So there's about 100 riders that signed up.
Would you say it's a wacky race?
About 100 riders signed up. Cowboys took break from their rodeos. World War II veterans finished their missions on submarines, and B-17 bombers entered, and so did a sheriff.
Damn.
And even an Australian.
Oh, that's not very American. You just sold me on this whole fucking America bit. And now you've got an Aussie in the race? I bet they tried to trip him up. You know what I bet? I bet there was... Do you think that there was like an evil guy in the race, and he was like Dick Dastardly in the wacky races, like Dick Dastardly and Muttley? You know, they were driving the car. There's like Muttley, and then Muttley's like...
I didn't get your reference earlier, but I used to watch that cartoon all the time.
Right?
Wasn't it like
so this is the wacky races, but it's horses.
Oh, that was such a like. It's kind of like the hot dog race, like you see at baseball games and stuff, where like it's fake, like it's already pre-planned, but you still watch it and root for somebody to win.
Yeah, of course it's pre-planned because somebody had to draw that shit. But they always had like somebody different win every time, just as long as it wasn't Dick Dastardly and Muttley.
But Richard, I think this is the Australian. His name was Count Jonas Hoya, and he was a good guy, Lewis said. And I think Lewis is kind of the guy
he was a count.
That's putting the stuff together.
I'm an Australian count. Good day. One shrimp on the bobby.
But Richard, our tale is going to surround one Viral Norton. He was one of the oldest riders. He didn't have a bank account as like most of the other people, because like horse racing usually have somebody that's like super rich.
That's what I was gonna say. Was horse racing always like a sport for people that had way more money than they knew what to do with?
I think in the 70s and stuff, it had to be getting to that point.
And the other thing is like you always see people that are like, oh, I'm gonna go to the track. I'm gonna go to the track and that was like gambling. Like I'm gonna go to the track, but like. You always see it in like sitcoms and shit like that about people going to the track and betting on horses, but like those people don't have a lot of money. So I like horse racing confuses me. I'm not sure what kind of person horse racing caters to, but I've never really met anybody that's like super into horse racing. I've never met anybody that's like, oh my God, the Kentucky Derby's today. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Well, I think most
like nobody's like the Kentucky Derby's like it's not like the Super Bowl for anybody. So I've yet to meet a person that this caters to.
I think most people that are like into horse racing, like they go to the side tracks that like there's nobody at, but somehow there's a lot of money getting funneled through it. And the horses there are not like, I think they're still pretty pricey horses, but they're not like Kentucky Derby horses. If that makes sense.
Okay. Bunch of dudes with broken noses. Is that what you're trying to say, Sean?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Broken fingers. And
yeah.
But I mean, you said like, who can afford to do this? Like, I mean, you go to a lot of like casinos, especially like more like non-Las Vegas casinos, like out in the Midwest. And you walk into those places, it's pretty sad. You're like, how do these people have any money? They figure it out. It's my inheritance, Richard. My mom and dad are there right now.
Laura, get him off the phone. I'm playing the slots.
Here goes
it's nickel night.
Here goes the 401k. Ching, 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 ching. Oh, nuts.
Oh. Tell Sean to clean out the guest room.
Grandma and Papa are coming over early and never leaving. But Richard,
lost all this money at the track, boo-boo.
There was a horse named Proud Son. I bet on the other one.
It makes me laugh and it makes you cry.
Love you too, Dad. Who'd you bet on? Disappointment? Well, I mean, I know you're disappointed that was the horse's name.
It was the horse's name, Disappointment, because it's your birthday.
Oh, nuts.
Guess what, Sean? It lost. fucking knew it would. Anyway,
go make me some bacon.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll take pancakes in the morning.
You're going to be up at 4 like me, right? I didn't think you'd get up at 4. No, I get up at 6, but you better be up at 4. Well, if you
I get up
so,
at 6. I want pancakes at 6:05.
But this guy, Richard, Viral Norton, he was one of the oldest riders and, like I said, didn't have any money or didn't have the big bank account like most of the others. He didn't have any of the fancy horse equipment or a big crew to help him to set up camp or cook or do laundry. Because I guess he probably had people right out ahead, like on cars.
So it's like the definition of underdog. Yes. Oh my God, do they have people like in cars and they go in front and try and fuck up the race for everybody behind them?
Throw much like Dick, shells.
Yeah, like Dick Dastardly and Muttley. If they would just fucking just drive their, if those two would have just driven their fucking car and not taken the time to stop every 5 seconds and fuck with everybody else's life, they would have just won the race. They would have won the race every single goddamn time because they always get ahead. They get ahead and then they're like, oh, hang on, let's stop the car and build a tripwire out of fucking beaver pelts or some goddamn nonsense. And then everybody just drives through it or over it or what the fuck ever. And then everybody's ahead of them.
Look, Muttley, we'll trick him with a beaver pelt.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what happens? So everybody gets through his little stupid bullshit that didn't end up working. And then Dick Dastardly and Muttley end up getting ahead again. And then they do the same stupid shit. They're like, okay, this time we're going to use llama fur and it'll work even better. And like, just goddamn drive your fucking car and you'd win the race.
Like, stop trying to fuck with
everybody. Yeah. Stop trying to fuck with everybody else's life. Fucking Dick Dastardly.
I wonder if you ever learned. Like, I wonder if there are like episodes now where like they like do like E60, like ESPN's documentaries on them. And the dog.
There's one where there's just a race where he's just had enough and he just fucking like loads C4 under everybody's car. Time to start the race. Boop. Yogi Bear's running around on fire.
Boo Boo's like,
Boo Boo, I think I'm expiring. Thunk.
Don't let the invisible fire burn my friend. Hey, Boo Boo. I got a toasty bun.
Yogi, I can't feel my face anymore. And everybody's dead. Snagglepuss is dead.
Was Shaggy and Scooby in that too?
Yeah. That was like the Scooby like was like the leader of a team. Or am I thinking of Laugh Olympics? I don't know. They were all the fucking same. I mean in a good way. I mean that in a good way.
Yeah, there's the kiddos got some show. It's not those characters, but it's kind of the same thing where there's a group of racers and there's like one kind of like dude that's a dick. And I think the horse or the dog kind of laughs the same way. And they do all like they try to like sabotage everybody.
If they would have just driven their fucking car.
Yep. But
then they would have won.
Viral Norton has an idea. So in this whole race idea, they basically say like if you're not riding an Arabian horse, the model is that if you're not riding an Arabian, you're following an Arabian. Ooh. So Arabian horses were the things to do here.
Is that true, or is that just trendy?
I don't know. It's probably trendy. It's like
that's what they have at like horse fashion shows.
Do you think
they have this
like,
Arabian horse like clip clopping down a runway, and then it gets to the end of the runway and it turns and shits and then walks back?
Arabian horses, they're so hot right now.
This Arabian horse had beans.
But I mean, I think I'm assuming Arabian horses are like horses that are ridden in the desert, would be my guess.
Yes, Sean. Those are horses from the land of Arabia.
So I mean, they probably be
wherever
long
that
distances,
is,
less water, rough conditions. But Viral Norton was going to challenge that motto.
Oh.
So Richard, it was the Great American Horse Race, right? Viral
oh my God.
Norton.
What'd he ride? Tell me he rode something fucking like ridiculous, like an ostrich.
Close. He had a mule.
Oh, nice.
So he's like, you know what? Fuck your Arabian horse. Yeah. I'm going to go. I went to this
You know how you
farm.
win this race? I'm going to win this race on the back of an ass. I'm going to ride an ass all the way to fucking California.
He's like, I'm gonna go to this farm. I want to find me the shittiest mule, the one with the baddest attitude, and I'm gonna ride him and show you what's up. I mean, this is a tortoise and the hare type of situation.
Yeah, it's the Arabian in the ass. That's like a tale of the ages. It's like an Aesop's fable. The tale of the Arabian in the ass.
So he always had a hankering for mules, and I think maybe from his childhood, said his son Pierce. So most of these riders had a crew of 2 or 3.
Like we always ate them. So
did you eat mules?
You could eat mule. You can eat anything.
I know you can eat. I know some places they eat horses. Have you ever ridden a mule?
No.
Have you ever ridden a horse?
Have you? Okay. So funny story. When I was in 4th grade, there was this girl that I really, really liked. And I went over to her house, and I rode my bike. I rode my bike all the way to her house, and she was there, and like we hung out and we talked, and she had a horse. Okay. She didn't have like a lot of money. She wasn't like super rich or whatever, but she did have a horse, and like, they took care of her or whatever. And like, I was like, I'm going to try and be fucking like Captain Impressive here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to ride that horse. And so
hey,
I go in.
Darling, let me get on this horse and
Yeah.
ride a little 6-shooter on the side. Cowboy. Hey, listen, I got my guitar right here too. Ready?
Okay. So my thing is like, because this girl was like super into like, not just horses, but animals in general.
Gotcha.
So my thinking is, hey, I'll ride this horse. I'll look like a badass. And then she'll be like, oh my God, you're so cool. And then we could like hold hands or something. Cause it was 4th grade. Yeah. What the fuck did I know?
She might kiss me on the cheek.
Right. Exactly. Okay. I had a series of bad experiences with this girl, but this is one. Okay. So we weren't even like a couple, and we didn't even go out
she didn't even invite you over. You just showed up.
Okay, wait. No, I wasn't creepy stalker boy. She did invite me over.
My name's Richard. I'm here to see your daughter. I'm here to ride her horse.
I didn't even know she had a horse. Okay, so
I'm here to ride her. You mean her horse? Yeah, her horse.
Oh, yeah, the horse. I'll wait outside. Okay, so like I hadn't even gone on a date, and not just with this girl, but I've never gone. I at that point I hadn't gone on a date ever. So I get to her house, ride my bike to her house. Now she lives out like way in the fuck, like in the sticks, So I'm on my bike for like a good like 20-25 minutes, right? So I ride my bike out to her house, and she's there. And like we walking around and we're talking and whatever. And it was me and her little brother was there too. And he was just kind of like wandering around doing what little brothers do to their older sisters, and like being intentionally being annoying.
Hey, Susie, are you going to marry Richard?
Yeah, no. Right?
God, no. I don't even know why he's here. I have you here just in case he tries to kill me.
What? I thought we were going to go in the woods and ride a horse. So we decide. So I see this horse, and I'm like, I get this thought in my head. I'm going to ride this horse. I'm going to be super impressive. Okay. So
did you ask for a cowboy hat and spurs?
I did not have a cowboy hat and spurs. I climbed over to get to the horse. And like, actually both of us climb over to get to the horse. And, she says, hang on, let me get the saddle, because I have a saddle. And I said, in my infinite wisdom and my years of experience in riding horses, I said, no, it's okay. I could just climb on.
No, it's okay. I like to ride bareback. Wink, wink.
Sean, let's be honest with ourselves, okay? Let's have a real moment. Sean, I have 3 kids. Obviously, I like to ride bareback. Let's put that on the table. So anyway, she says, hey, I'll get the saddle.
2 different stories, same outcome.
So me, in my infinite wisdom and years of experience in riding horses, a master equestrian, if you will, I say, no, don't worry about it. I'll climb on the horse and just ride it like this. Because in my head, I'm like, number one, I don't want her to like make this like super special effort for me to ride this horse. And number two, if I manage to ride this horse without a saddle or any method to hold me onto it, that I would even go above and beyond the looking impressive riding a horse.
So and like number three is like, this is a fucking horse. We make glue out of these. They can't be.
I'll tell you what I think I got the idea from. I think I got the idea from those trashy romance novels where you see Fabio on a horse and there's never a saddle. Like there's never you see any of the cover. Go to a cover of a romance novel and you tell me if there's there's always a horse. It's always a dude on a horse, and the dude has like his shirt kind of like open a little bit.
Always bareback too.
Exactly. Always bareback on the horse. Never a saddle. There's apparently saddles do not exist in the world of fucking Nora Roberts or whatever, like the romance novels. I can't think of who authors them.
Numerous times I'd walk in, my mom would be crying. I'm like, what are you crying about, Mom? She's like, I wish Fabio would ride me bareback.
I didn't know what that Mom meant. Is Fabio the name of the horse?
He does have a long mane. I'm confused. Grown-ups are weird.
I'm gonna play Legos. Bye. So, all right. So here's the deal. So I'm getting ready to climb on this horse. Now, my experience with riding horses up to that point, at the ripe old age of, I don't remember, 12, 13,
something like
was
that. Yeah. You're in fourth grade.
0. I have never ridden on a horse at that point. I had never done anything involving a horse. At that point, I think even just my exposure with horses was slim to none. I might have seen a horse, but I'm not sure if I just had seen a horse in a movie or on the cover of a trashy romance novel or just in real life. I'm not sure, but there was a combination of things that led me to believe that I carried the weight and experience to ride this horse without a saddle.
Do you have a song playing in your head as this was going on?
No, I did not. Maybe it was, don't die on this horse. I don't know. So I climb on this horse. Guess what, Sean? I got on the horse.
Yeah.
Yep.
What happened
Got
next?
on the horse. So
you rode the horse, you jumped over like the fence, and then she was like,
we're not there yet. Richard. So I'm on the horse.
Is this the story of how you and Amanda met?
No.
Is this how you met your wife? You guys got married that day? Is that what happened?
On the horse.
On the horse.
And then we rode off into the sunset and had 3 children.
Bye, Dad.
So I managed to get myself on the horse. I'm not exactly sure how that happened, but I did manage to get on the horse. So I'm on the horse. Hands are are like, on the sides of the horse's neck. And I am ready to go. I look down and she's looking at me with a completely indifferent look because this is her horse. She's seen it her entire life. She doesn't give a fuck who's on it. And this is not impressive to her whatsoever. But in my mind, it's this look of admiration. It's the look that the rancher's daughter gives to the wandering stranger as he is about to ride off into the sunset.
Yeah.
And I take that look into myself, Sean, and I feel proud. I feel proud that I'm now sitting on this horse. And I'm like, all right, here we go. And I kind of kick my feet a little bit. And this horse, Sean, I don't know if you know about the acceleration of horses.
It's quick.
I did not know about the acceleration of horses because, as I said, my experience was limited to probably, watching the movie Silverado a couple times. This horse takes off. Boom. This horse is 0 to, I'm going to, conservatively estimate 0 to 500 miles an hour in the span of about 2 seconds.
We were halfway to California IA.
We had circumvented the globe before we left the pen.
We got back in time for me to see myself climbing on the horse.
That's
before
exactly what happened.
This is a bad idea.
It's like looking at a fan and it just like there's just one solid image of me on a horse around the world. So Sean, this horse takes off, boom, like a shot. And guess what? I'm on it and I'm riding it. I'm riding this horse, okay? And I'm on and I'm like, this is fucking, I did it. I goddamn did it. All right. So that's what happened in the first second and a half. So somewhere between the first and second that I'm on this horse, somewhere between second 1 and 2, things go horribly wrong. Because, as I mentioned before, Sean, I did not have a saddle.
Or a lead, it sounds like.
Or anything to hold on to aside from the neck of this fucking poor defenseless animal.
Which is probably thinking, God, this thing's trying to choke me to death.
So this thing takes off, boom, like a shot. And I'm on it. And then disaster strikes where my weight shifts to one side. Because when you're sitting on an object made of solid muscle that's moving, equilibrium can get thrown. And mine was thrown. So after second 2, I'm going down, Sean. I'm sliding off this horse, off the right side. And I'm thinking, and it's in that moment that I look down and I realize, wow, I'm really high up off the ground.
This is a bad death.
And I say to myself in my head, mistakes were made. And now it's time to, pay for those mistakes. This is it. So I fall off the horse. I slide off the horse. I'm about to land head first into a pile of mud because when I had ridden out there, it was a cold day. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those cold days where like the ground's kind of wet. And since it's, where a horse lives, it's a little muddy as well.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, Richard. It wasn't mud.
So immediately I do this kind of X-Men pose over my face and hit the ground. Boom, on my arms. So my arms, I make an X over my head so I don't land directly on my head. And I land directly on my arm.
Okay.
And then my head slams into my arms and I do this I start to go into a roll. Now it's in that moment, Sean. Now, see, I know you're thinking like, oh my God, like how is this story going to get any worse? It doesn't, Sean. It gets better because you know why? Because once I start to roll, I realize, oh my God, I could somersault. And pop right back up.
I've been taking those tumbling classes and all those kids there, they call me Richard the Tumbler.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. No, Sean, that's not what happened. So I do a somersault and spring up like a morning lily greeting the dawn. I stand up and look proud. I look proud, Sean. There's a look of pride on my face.
Yeah.
Because I had tempted fate and death.
Looked it right in the eye.
I did. I looked it right in the eye. You know what I did? I did it for love. And when your heart is pure and you sacrifice your body for love, it pays off, Sean. Sean, it didn't pay off.
I kind of felt like the story was going to take a turn for the worse.
Because I turn, and not only was the little brother laughing his ass off at my poor choices and execution, she was also laughing as well. Sean, my 12-year-old heart shrank 3 sizes that day.
Did you see her dad walking out too with like a shotgun and be like, what the fuck you doing with my horse?
That did not happen, but it was promptly after that was like, I should probably go because, I gotta get home. That was Sean. That was the saddest bike ride. That was the saddest bike ride in the history of bike rides.
You're all muddy. You're probably bruised up a little bit.
Little bit. Luckily, 12-year-old bodies or 13-year-old bodies, they're resilient. They can take a punch. And I took a punch. Sean, horses are tall.
Yes, they are. You're lucky it didn't step on you.
I know. Dude, it wasn't until like way later in life that I hear stories about like horses that, like step on people and like break legs and shit like that. Well, like that could have ended 8 million times worse.
You could have been like Superman. Superman fell off his horse and broke his neck. Was stuck to a wheelchair for the rest of his life.
Wow. That could have happened.
How lucky you are. Yeah.
I could have been moving by a straw.
Yeah. There's an alternate world where it's like, hey, everybody, I'm Sean. And I'm Richard.
Hang on, I gotta get up to the microphone. I'm using a breathalyzer to fucking go back and forth.
I'm trying to do my the dude that was in the wheelchair that had the type. Hello, I'm Richard. How does that voice work?
And this is the language of Bromance. Sean, I could have been a cripple, and I could have been a cripple, and here you are doing a fucking robot voice.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could have been like Stephen Hawking. Maybe you would have been super smart. You had to give up all your bodily functions, and you would have been smart.
Yeah,
you've been writing.
That's exactly what would have happened.
You'd write books that says "Don't ride horses bareback."
Okay, so yeah, so that was the story of my experience with horses. And I will say I do have other stories with the same girl because you know what, Sean? Despite everything that had happened, guess what? I still got a date.
Nice.
Got a date with that girl. It was my first date ever.
You went back.
I'll save that story for another time.
I was going to say, you go back and the dad's like, aren't you the kid that fell in the horse shit? No, I'm the kid that fell in the mud.
What's that smell? Nothing.
It's an earthy mud.
Did you kick my horse on the way up to the door? No, sir.
But Richard, our tale of Viral. So he decided he wanted to take this mule out on this great American horse race. And him and his son Pierce were going to be the ones to do this. And Pierce just got his license because, like we said, they got a crew. They drive ahead, I guess, to set up camp, get stuff set up for him. And Pierce had just turned 16. So he was, just learning how to drive and having to figure all this stuff out. So he's like, I had to learn pretty quick.
So Pierce is the guy that's going ahead to make sure like Dick Dastardly isn't putting out a line of beaver pellets or something for him to trip over.
He's setting up the camp. He's getting his dad food made. He's being a good son.
So that's Pierce. Who's and the guy that's riding the horse's name is what?
It's VIRL. Viral. I think the guy's name might be Viral.
Who names their kid Viral?
Well, I mean, he's from the 70s, so he probably was born in like the teens.
It's like, yeah, but I'm saying like...
Well, I mean, back then it's like, well, this kid didn't die of anything, so we'll call him Viral. But even with a mule...
And this is his brother, Smallpox.
But even with a mule and a crew of just his one teenage son, Viral knew that he was going to win. So
he believed it in his heart.
Pierce was saying
much like I believed it in my heart that I could ride that horse bareback.
Pretty much.
I hope it works out better for him. Than me.
Pierce kind of says his dad was, a social, charismatic guy. They got into restaurants and he started talking about doing this thing. So they're like, yeah, let's do this. So let's talk about our man Viral. Like you're wondering about his age. So he was born in Wyoming in 1916. And
1916.
As a teenager, Richard, he caught and trained wild horses. So he knew, he's like, wild horses, they're shit. You ride them bareback, they kick you off. You have to somersault off of them and try not to die. Just to impress the farm girl.
Don't do it in front of the ladies.
But him and his family also worked mules on their farm. So he had an understanding of the weaknesses of both. Viral learned that mules are slow, but generally not a good quality for a race. But they also learn that mules have stamina and durability, which is good qualities for this race.
Oh, I see. So he's saying, hey, I'm going to ride a mule because you're going to be on a horse and it's going to be faster, but I'm going to be able to last longer. And in the end, isn't that what we all want, ladies? Am I right?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Stamina.
Yeah. Motion in the ocean. Or in this case, it's not the size of your horse. It's the size of your ass.
True.
Big ass always wins the race. Endurance race. I don't know. Okay, but in that respect, like I never see Fabio on the cover of a romance novel sitting on top of a fucking burro.
That's true. Mules are not that ugly looking of creatures, though. I mean, some horses look majestic, but I mean, mules look like horses just with longer ears.
No, whatever. It looks like you know what a mule looks like? A mule looks like a horse fucked a rabbit. And not like in a fun way, like in an angry way. Well, it looks like a horse had angry sex with a rabbit. Well, that's
it's a cross between a mule and a donkey or a horse and a donkey is a mule. So it's kind of like, it's a horse that's like
in an angry way.
It's a Kentucky.
This is a horse hate fucking a donkey. No wonder Eeyore was so fucking depressed all the time.
Well, it's the Kentucky Derby winning horse. He comes over, and it's like $200,000. I need you to fuck my mule or fuck my donkey.
Fuck my donkey. Which one? That one. And then there's one lone donkey sitting there.
No, what it really
Thanks for noticing me.
Well, it's a Kentucky winning horse that's got like a little bit of a fetish for like Bridget the midget.
Yeah,
like,
I'm into donkey porn. When I win this race. When I win this race, what are you going to do next? Kentucky Blue. I'm going to Mexico for a donkey show.
And I'm the star. But we're following the tale of Viral. So he got married and settled in San Jose. Because I think this really sets up kind of why he decided to do this thing. Because he really didn't seem to fit in. So he worked as a steeplejack. He went around the country painting tall things like towers and smokestacks.
Oh, okay.
There was 5 of the children and his mother. And this is Pierce talking, when his dad would be out painting and he'd be out in Sacramento, North Dakota or someplace, and he'd come home for a couple weeks. So like he's kind of an absentee father, really.
Yeah.
He's like, I got to go.
And he's out painting smokestacks. Is that a job? Is that a job you can do? Who?
Yeah.
Like, does he do it for fun?
It's like
somebody like boss walks outside. Hey, fuck you doing on my smokestack? That doesn't look like a flower.
Well, I think it's not like
get that shit off.
What is that? Is that a horse? It's a mule.
Well, the ears are too short.
That's the ugliest horse I've ever seen.
That's an ugly horse. Looks like a hate fucking donkey.
Let's see. So Pierce is talking about so he went to live with his uncle. So he's basically, it's kind of like they're shipping the kids out.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a tale of a dad and a son coming together too. I need to share this story with my dad. Hey, Dad, you want to go buy a mule?
Can we go be in a mule race?
Laura,
I'm not doing that with him. Why would I ride a mule?
We're right in town, so like, looks like somebody hate fucked a donkey. So it was a temporary thing, but I guess in May of '69, he got a phone call that his mother died. So Pierce and Viral doesn't have a wife anymore, and Pierce is without a mother. The kids continue to stay with this relatives and whatnot. But it was at some point, Pierce came and picked them up. So Viral and Pierce set out from California for the starting line in New York in a what the fuck is this going? This kind of skipped something.
Now they're in a car? What kind of car?
Let's jump back here. So when Pierce was 12.
Looks like somebody fucked a Model T. What kind of car is that?
So when Pierce was 12, jumping back, his father came to get him. So finally at age 12, it's like, listen, we gotta get our family back together. So this is
God, this is like the plot of that movie Curly Sue.
Kind of, yeah. This is 4 years before the race. So he had another house trailer right next door, and so Pierce lived in his own house trailer, and basically they kind of like farmed and whatnot.
Okay.
And at some point then at that restaurant, Viral saw the ad for the Great Horse Race. And this is when they get together and decide, listen, we're going to do this thing. So Viral and Pierce set out from California for the starting line in New York in a 1971 Dodge pickup with loose steering, hauling a camper, a low-end horse trailer that didn't have any horses in it. But Richard, what they had was their mule that went by the name of Lord Fauntleroy, nicknamed Leroy, and a backup mule named Lady Eloise.
Oh, I wish its name was Jenkins.
Yeah, that's all right. It's Leroy though. Leroy and Eloise.
Leroy. What was Viral's last name?
Norton. Leroy Norton.
All right, let's do this race. Leroy Norton.
Well, I feel bad for Leroy's like main mule because like his backup mule's named Lady Eloise.
Right? Be like, hey, you fucked this up. I'm gonna jump on your sister.
So Richard,
or your wife. Oh my God! What if the mules are married?
Oh, it's like you either win this race or we're killing your wife.
Yeah,
Eloise.
Oh my God! It's like Speed. So the mule is like, so Viral's like, listen, I'm Australian. Everybody here fucking hates me, and you look like a horse fucked a donkey. But listen up, you're gonna win this race because if you don't, you see Pierce over there. See Pierce over there? Oh, he's over there with your wife, isn't he? Oh, little Lady Eloise. Oh, what's that? Oh, does Pierce have a knife? What's Pierce going to do to Lady Eloise? Nothing, as long as you don't win the fucking race, Lord Leroy.
I think this could be almost like Indecent Proposal, too. It's like you either win this race or we're going to hate fuck Eloise.
We will be the ones that will do the fucking.
Eloise is like, take your time, Leroy. Wait a second.
See, now I'm picturing a horse wearing a suit, staying on its hind legs, like talking to like a donkey, a male donkey. It's like, listen, I will pay you $200,000. I don't know if you know this. I'm a winning prize racehorse, but I'm going to pay you $200,000 to sleep with your wife, and not in a nice, gentle way, in an angry way.
Have you met my son, Leroy? But Richard, the race begins on May 31st, 1976. So they set out there pretty early. There's like a 5-year period. I'm not sure what they do. Maybe they're training Leroy and Eloise.
Yeah, they're having Leroy like jump over fences and bushes.
It's like a Rocky montage.
Oh my God.
But I mean, Viral and Pierce put in a lot of time in this because, like I said, it was a 1971 Dodge pickup that they saw. They weren't there for 5 years. I'm sorry, I misunderstood that. So the race is structured kind of like the Tour de France because in America, in foreign France, they're riding bikes up mountains. Here, we're just riding horses across the Great Plains.
We're like, no, I'd prefer something where I don't have to put in any effort. I just sit on something and it goes. Because America,
have you
that's the country.
I mean, bike riding,
that's the country I live in.
With
right?
I hate biking.
Have you ever tried to ride I rode my bike a bunch when I was a kid. Like I rode my bike everywhere when I was a kid.
There's this one time you tried to ride your bike to impress a girl.
Yes, I told that story. So yeah, I rode my bike everywhere. Man, I tried to ride a bike as an adult, like 3 blocks. Sean, I felt like I was going to die. I felt like my heart was going to explode in my chest. That's what it felt like.
I feel it in the legs. My legs just die doing that.
Ugh.
That's why I just do the bike simulator on my computer. So much easier.
I just watch people. I watch videos of people biking. and I drink a soda while I do it. That looks hard. That's what I say.
So the race is set up kind of like Tour de France. So it's about 35 miles a day, and the riders are clocked when they start and finish. So you're not like it's not like a sprint race where you're trying to race the end. It's like, okay, you guys go, and they time you, and they probably do it like in split groups. And I guess at first, Richard, Viral's strategy was not paying off. So Pierce was said, because I guess this article is talking about Pierce when he was going through it. He says, there was people going full blast the first day. They probably rode twice as fast as his dad did. And he's wondering, he's like, well, shit, is this a good strategy? Because he's like sitting there. He's like, well, that's a horse. That's a horse. That's a horse.
And horse. Wait. Oh, nope. Horse.
Horse. Ugh, that's an ugly horse.
That's kind of a cute horse.
Eloise is like, not mine. Actually, Eloise is like, Get me some of that steed.
Hey, baby, you ever fuck somebody that look like me? You want to make some baby mules?
Mules can't reproduce. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that.
Yep. They're sterile.
Why can't they reproduce?
Because they're a mix between a donkey and a horse, so they're sterile. They're a freak of nature.
That's what happens. That's what happens when donkeys are fucked in an uncomfortable place.
Yeah. I've heard, Richard, that to get a mule, what they do is they dig a hole for the donkey. Or no, the horse, I think you have to have a male donkey and a female horse, because the reverse of that would kill the female donkey.
Oh, damn.
I think. So what they do is they dig a hole for the horse to get into. So the donkey.
And Lady Eloise is like, I'll give it a shot. That thing looks massive.
And then the donkey is able to get up on top of the horse. So it's more like the horse is getting mounted by Robert the midget.
Yeah,
Mitch the midget.
Not in a nice way. They're like, all right, look here, bitch, stand in this hole, and things are gonna happen.
But Richard, this is where the strategy kind of comes into play. So one thing about the Great American Race, that there was veterinarians kind of going. So they're very animal right cognitive. Conscientious too, yeah, during this. So if a horse or a mule showed any signs of breaking down, they would basically tell them to stop, and they would not let them go again until they're good. So
basically they didn't want you to fucking run your horse until it was dead. Okay, that makes sense.
So as the days went on, more and more horses started to break down, because the riders was smacking with their sticks and be like, go, fucker, go.
I want to win this. You can hate fuck all the donkeys in the world once we get to California.
But the other thing, Richard, which is kind of interesting. So this wasn't the only thing slowing teams down. So these teams, there was plenty of drinking going on, and people the middle night were screaming and hollering and fighting, and where's my girlfriend and that sort of thing.
Oh, shit.
So there's dudes, like, hey, I see your husband's got disappointing son. I've got proud son right here. You white proud son. Zip. Oh my.
Because I got a proud penis. You sure do.
So, there's a lot of stuff going on, but it's Pierce and his dad, so they're kind of bonding on this trip.
Oh my God, this is the X-rated wacky races.
Yeah. And
Dick Dastardly's like, come here, Muttley. Let's make our own mule.
Viral's like, hey, Pierce, you want to go out and try and get some strange? He's like, no, Dad, I just like hanging out with you.
Yeah, see? So everybody else is doing fucking the X-rated wacky races, and Pierce and Viral are doing a Goofy movie.
And so while all the other competitors were getting in trouble, Pierce was absolutely positively focused. So I think maybe Pierce was being the cock block. So his dad's like, hey, you want to go out and see some of the other ones? No, Dad. Kind of like me. No, Dad.
I want to stay with you. But son, there's a lot of the world. If you could just, not be here for 30 to 45 minutes.
Okay, Dad, we can go
together.
Think
of the things you could see.
Show up.
Dad, you're the only thing I'm here to see. Get the fuck out of the goddamn hotel room.
Walk out.
I'm trying to get laid. It's either you or the fucking donkey. And I'm not that desperate yet. We haven't even crossed time zones.
You walk to the door and some lady walks up. It's like, are you my new mom? So Pierce, I guess he was busy all the time. He was doing things. It was a full-time job doing all the laundry, shopping, groceries, cooking, and all that kind of stuff. And so with this focus, they were able to keep going strong. About a quarter of the way in the race into Kentucky, Illinois, Kankakee. Viral and Leroy went out ahead of all the Arabians.
Oh my God, he did it.
Yep. Pierce was quoted as saying, I'm 56 years old now, and in the 40 years since that race happened, there's not a bigger event in my life.
Wow, that's saying something. I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's a statement.
And it sounds like this was not like a close race. At this point, they just keep pulling away.
Yeah. This is a joy that I will never experience and never have and never will again. Okay, Pierce, you're laying it on kind of thick, okay? I was just using this as an excuse to get away from your mother for a few days. And then you're like, I want to come along too. And she's like, go ahead and take the boy. And I'm
their mom died. The mom died, Richard. So now if you
it was like her dying wish.
Yeah, oh, there you go. Yeah.
And then he was like, fuck. Well, now I got to do it. All right, get on the other mule.
Well, I feel like Pierce is retelling this tale. It's like, those were some of the greatest times ever. On the road, seeing America, spending every night with the beautiful, lustrous Eloise, and we'd make love for out. Wait, didn't you say Eloise was the backup mule? Yeah?
Yeah.
What's your point? Did you meet?
I loved a mule that wasn't clean.
So, talking with Pierce, he'd always said that he hadn't planned on taking the lead that early. Everyone ran their horses down a little bit sooner than he thought. Soon we got into the lead. There was a long way to go, but we were going in the right direction. The lead was getting longer. And Richard, so days before the finish became clear that a mule was going to win the great American horse race.
Oh my God. Tell me that's when disaster strikes, or tell me that's when like all the rich hoity-toities that are on their fucking $50,000 horses are like, no, we can't have this happen. And then they dick dastardly the fucking mule. Is that what happens?
They make plans. I don't know. Let's read on. And on the last day, Richard, I don't think so. I think this kind of just this ending to this horse race is a lot more satisfying than the ending to your horse race. So Pierce again is kind of recanting the tale. So he said there was a whole bank of press photographers, and just as these cameras flashing and going off like crazy, and some of the other competitors put my dad up on his shoulders and ran him around the fairgrounds a little bit. So I mean, they're like, oh my God, this dude with a mule beat our expensive horses.
He fucking did it!
I don't know if we
Wait a minute, he's Australian. Fuck this guy.
He's not Australian though. That was a different guy. I don't know why they mentioned Australian. He doesn't play a part in any of the rest of the story.
Oh. Yeah, that was a bit of a rabbit hole that you didn't need to go down.
Let's see, I don't know if we ever really had a kind of moment where we did a high five. He wasn't that kind of guy.
My dad never loved me.
He could just look over and nod at me, and I would know that he was satisfied with the job that I did.
Even in his moment of triumph, he couldn't show me 1 ounce of affection.
I just imagine.
That's why we had Lady Eloise.
I just imagine like Viral's going around like high-fiving all these people like, yeah, woo. And his son comes up like, Dad, let's slap hands. He's like, son.
Come on, like the big boys do.
Son, I don't do that. Hey, great job, Viral. Thanks, dude. Wait, that was... Oh, Viral, you did great. Thanks, man. Up top, down low. Aha! Let's bring it in for a hug. Dad, can we hug? Dude, I don't hug. How many times did I tell
stop
you?
it. Not. You're being a little needy right now, and it's not becoming.
Go back to your horse.
Okay. This is like I don't know if you've seen anything on God of War, but there's a bunch of times on God of War where Kratos' son does something, and like the camera's like behind the both of them, and the son does something, and Kratos like puts his arm out like he's about to like put his arm around him or pat him on the back or something, and you see his arm go out, and he's like, no, that's okay. Like, he's like, show the boy affection. Nope, can't do it. That's what this is.
Yeah. You
oh my God, Dad, we won. Let's hug. Whoa. Hang on.
Act like you've been there before, son.
Yeah.
This never been done before. Mule's never won this race.
Apparently, I crossed the finish line with a mule and a pussy. Which one's which? Well, I'm on the mule.
So I'm the...
Dad, I know you loved me.
So winning the race got viral into newspapers and on TV. So he shows up. It's like, so how'd you do this? On my own. Like, I pulled myself up by my own bootstraps, and I did this race all on my own.
Just me and the mule.
So you didn't have a team like your son or anything? Nope, just me.
Nope, it was me. I had some fans that, offered encouragement.
I got a lot of groupies, is what I'm saying. I'm a recently widower.
And they're all mules.
It earned him some respect, I guess, among some horse-loving friends of the rest of his life. But for Pierce Richard, like you were saying, there was no fame. His dad kept him off TV.
Oh, yeah. Shit.
So when the race was over, he went back to high school. I guess he's a scientist now. And he say he hasn't ridden a horse or a mule in 20 years.
Pierce?
Yeah, Pierce. So, like, every time he sees a horse, teardrops.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, oh my gosh, this is like the ending of 8 Men Out.
This is the making of a supervillain. This is the making of a supervillain that wants to like destroy all mules on the earth.
No one will ride an animal again. Like he's sitting there at like the Kentucky Derby. It's like, oh, mister, do you know horses? Do you ride horses? I haven't rode horses in a long time, kid. Who's that out there? That's Viral Norton. Yeah.
I knew him once.
He's
that
been dead
son
to me.
of a.
He's been dead to me for so long. Yeah, you won. High five, mister. He raises up his hand and goes, no, I can't. I can't high five.
This hand is only meant for one, and he's out there. It's a love that will never be requited.
And so, Richard, that story plays out. So, he's trying to get that last high five, right? And his dad's in the hospital. And he's like, the only thing that can get him there is Eloise. And so he gets on Eloise, tries to ride out there, but, he can't get there in time.
Eloise is old at this point.
His dad's got the hand up and he walks in. It's kind of like the ending of MASH. Like, there's a MASH episode where, like, a father died, like, on Christmas. Because they tried to keep him alive till, like, the day after Christmas. So, like, we don't want the kids to be, upset that their dad died on Christmas. So, like, the doctors and stuff is, like, trying to keep Viral alive for, so his son can get there and give him a high five.
Right.
And he walks in, like, 5 minutes after, like, he's passed away. And the doctor's like, oh, we're so sorry. We did. And then, like, one doctor's like, no. And, like, moves the clock and raises the dead arm of his Viral and makes him high five.
And then what happens is that Pierce doesn't even, like, he starts to put his hand up and then makes a fist and then just punches the fucking corpse of his dead father right in the mush. Like, this is for all the love you never showed me and gave to that fucking mule, you fucking bastard. I hate you so much. They got to pull him off. No, I'm not fucking done.
So Viral Norton died in 1995, and Pierce talks about remembering him fondly. So he didn't punch him in the face after he died.
Damn.
I came to appreciate...
That candle burns strong in good old Pierce.
I came to appreciate some stuff kind of later on, he says. My dad raised me kind of on his own, and his best attribute was that he could get more out of a person than they thought they could give. He would give you an opportunity to prove yourself, and you were good. So in 1976, Viral and Pierce Norton and their mule, Leroy, proved to America that they weren't just good, they were great.
Aww. That's inspiring.
The only people to get credit were Viral and Leroy, not Eloise or Pierce.
Yeah, fuck those two. What they do. I ran that race. You just, did the exact same thing ahead of me. and made sure that I won.
Yeah, I did all the work. I rode the mule.
Aside from riding the entire race ahead of me and making sure that, you know, I'm all taken care of and basically ensuring my victory in this race. Like, aside from that, I don't really see, you know, what you had to contribute.
Dad, I know what you're really trying to say, and I love you. Stop. Just go clean something up.
This may have been a race across the country, but I feel like this was a race to your heart. Well, son, in that case, looks like we both lost.
He starts singing, "Cats in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man in the moon." Son, that's the song about a dad who worked. Okay, if it makes you happy, whatever.
When you're coming home, son, I don't know when, but we'll fuck the mule then. You know we'll have a good time then.
All right, Richard. So this championship race across America on a mule. Do you have any Richard's closing thoughts?
Let's see. So Pierce went on a journey across America, but the thing he was looking for was always there, and he still never found it. So that's sad. But you know what this proves? This proves so a donkey or a mule is when a horse hate fucks a donkey. So this proves that sometimes hatred does win out. Sometimes angry sex can bring about great joy.
Or is this more of the hubris of man?
Riding a mule.
All right, Richard, well, let me do a little bit of housekeeping to tidy us up. Visit our website, we're at languageofbromance.com. Follow us on Twitter, we're at languageofbro. Email us at eatthebeaver@languageofbromance.com. Check out the LOB Army intelligence reports. Like us on Facebook, and go out and recruit somebody for our trip across to America, where I try to earn the love of my father. By getting someone you know to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify. Richard, we are also on Alexa. Ask Alexa, say, "Alexa, can you play the newest Language of Bromance episode?" And guess what'll pop up?
Oh my God. The world of tomorrow is today, Sean.
In the year 2000.
And when you talk to Alexa, you can be like, "Alexa, that's really good. Could you let me know how to give them a 5-star rating and review? Because they tell me it's super helpful for them. Alexa, give Language of Bromance a 5-star review."
Alexa, give Language of Bromance $10 million.
There. Not only did we just secure our financial future, we also got like 4 5-star ratings just then. In that moment.
Richard, you can always find us as part of the Pod Bros Network.
The mule in the horse race of podcasts.
And if you have some time, please join our LLB Army, like our newest LLB Army Major, Wendy, by going to our Patreon account at www.patreon.com/languageofbromance.
Wendy's the best.
Yeah, thank you very much, Wendy.
Around. And we don't think you're a mule.
No.
We think you're a majestic, beautiful horse. And we hope that you get ridden bareback, right? That's a compliment.
I think so.
I'm going to jail.
All right. Well, is there anything else before I close her out?
No, let's hurry. Let's hurry and finish.
All right. Well, that's all the bromance we have for this show. I'm Sean.
And I'm Richard.
And I say we eat the...
And then we use the beaver pelts to trip up people in the wacky races.
Richard, we're going to find a beaver and we're going to enter the Great American Horse Race on a beaver.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. Can we ride the beaver bareback?
Once.
Fuck you, I've done it 3 times.